Gary?
Yes, hey there.
Hey, how
Can you
you
hear me?
doing? Yes,
I'm doing okay. How are you? Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you.
That's perfect. Excellent. Yes, yes.
So I don't really know how many are going to join us because it's the first time we've ever done this. So there could be one, or there could be 40, or there could be 100. I don't know.
Yeah, there could be 101 even.
So you're a caregiver, I assume.
Yes, I am, and I'm also a trained voice actor. And I just finished and I just finished an audition about 20 minutes ago.
Great. What is a voice actor?
Commercial spots, character work.
You do voiceovers.
Yes, I do. Well, I'm just starting because as a caregiver, I've been helping my dad for almost 7 years.
I do
And
voiceovers also.
oh, really? I didn't know that. That's great.
Okay, let's find out who Kathy is, then we'll continue our conversation.
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
Yay, so exciting. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. Hey, guys. Kathy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wow, you're pretty technologically savvy to get on here.
Bring this up a little bit.
So tell me about yourself, Kathy. Are you a caregiver? I'm sure you are.
Yes, my son is Down syndrome. He'll be 49 in a few weeks. So I've done 24/7 caregiving, total care, shave him, bathe him, wash him, make all his meals.
Oh my! For how many years? 47.
49 in July.
49. That's almost as many years as I've been married. And why do you care for him? He's how old is he?
40. He'll be 49 in July.
So from birth.
Yeah.
Special needs child. What's his ailment?
He was born Down syndrome, very low level. He's nonverbal. He's on like an 18-month to 2-year-old level. He's in a wheelchair, and now he has Alzheimer's. The Down syndrome part of it was not there. He did everything everybody else does, just at a lower level. But the Alzheimer's is from hell. From hell.
All Alzheimer's is from hell. My mother and my mother-in-law had it. So, Gary, just when you think you've heard the worst story, someone comes along and
yes,
does a wow. You know, you are the queen, Kathy.
Yes.
Oh, we got another one coming in too. Gary, go ahead and let me just say hello to whoever that is, and then I want to hear your story, why you are a caregiver or how you became a caregiver. So why don't you just start, and we'll
okay, sure. But I wanted to say to Kathy that today is National Down Syndrome Awareness Day.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, it is.
Good day to have.
She probably knows. Yeah, she probably knows. Obviously,
we got our different colored socks on. I have.
Oh, you do? Great.
They all wore different colored socks today.
Yeah, I've got a green and a blue one on. So yeah, me too.
I'm assuming you're not married anymore, or are you? Kathy.
Am I?
Yeah.
Talking. My husband left when Matt was 3, and I have 6 children.
That is so common.
Wow.
I guess he wasn't a good guy, was he?
Well, he was a good dad, but a lot of people can't handle this sort of stuff.
It's a lot to handle. Yes.
I understand that.
Many of them will just leave and say, you know what? I love everybody, but I didn't sign up for this, and I can't handle it, and I'm going to go crazy. And you're very empathetic. You understand why he left, and it sounds like you're not bitter about it, and you forgave him.
Well, the only thing I'm bitter about is he walked and never looked back financially or even a postcard.
Oh, well, that doesn't make him a good guy, does it?
No.
Yeah.
But, those years are long gone. Matt's old now.
Can't live in the past, can you?
No, doesn't work.
Okay, Gary, go ahead and tell me your story.
Okay, sure. So about almost 7 years ago, my father had a stroke, and I was renting the apartment above him because he owned the home. And I was at work, and I got a call from a friend of his, and so we had to go to the hospital, and then he was airlifted to a larger hospital. And he has some memory loss, and he also has various medical conditions connected to the stroke.
Wow.
So I had to be educated about different things. And I had a friend at the time. She still is a nurse practitioner. She moved away. She actually helped me out because, she knew a lot about neurological stuff. And so she gave me a lot of information. The hardest thing for me is that 7 months before, I witnessed my friend die.
Wow.
In front of me. So I struggled with processing that, with then processing my dad.
Multiple grief.
At the same time, and so I had to sort of change gears. I was attempting to do stand-up comedy. I'm really not much of a people person, to be honest with you. I don't like the public. I've enjoyed the pandemic immensely. So, having the studio here in the bedroom closet, we had to sell the house because it was too much money. And so now we live in an apartment. But I have the studio in the bedroom closet. I only go out if I absolutely have to. But it does get overwhelming trying to change gears while you're taking care of someone. Of course, I don't have the same kind of story that Kathy does because I haven't done it for that long. And Dad does some things for himself, but I do like 80% of the
So
stuff.
did he lose his speech?
No, memory stuff.
You're very fortunate. At least he can communicate with speech. My wife had a stroke 25 years ago, lost her speech, paralyzed on one side. But after grieving for 2 years, she just decided, you know what, I'm going to do everything I did before. And by golly, she's about 90% of doing what she still can't talk. She still can't walk, but we communicate through Pictionary and charades. And she has a power chair. And we literally travel the world, because I speak on stages all over the world, been on television, 51, 52 already, just helping caregivers stay alive because 30% of them burn out. Die before their loved ones do. Kathy is a miracle because she's still alive. 30% of the Kathys in the world are dead.
Yes, exactly. After 50 years.
What do you say, Kathy? What?
You don't do American Sign Language for your communication?
It's a language, and she can't learn language. That part of the language brain was damaged. And she has aphasia. It's fascinating how the brain works. Mm-hmm. Who's on the iPad? Are you able to speak to us and show us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you unmute your video? Is that possible?
Let me see. Can I do that? Because I don't know how do you do that?
Look at the bottom. Are you on a laptop?
Yeah, no, I'm on an iPad.
On your
left-hand side, I should be, sorry.
Left-hand side, does she have to, there's a little icon of a movie camera.
Okay, I don't see an icon of a movie camera. I just see like no video, and then I've got a plus and a minus.
Yeah, try a plus on the, is it next to the video?
Okay. Yeah, see, I put plus and it doesn't do anything.
Okay, well, that's all
I
right.
don't know, unless I go out and try to re-enter.
No, just stay where you are. So you're a caregiver, I assume. What's your name?
My name is Lori. Oh, yeah, I'm a caregiver. My husband's quad. He's been quad. He's been quad all of his life. He was in a power chair. So basically all he had was his speech, and basically all he has is from his neck up. And
like Superman, huh?
So basically he full dress, full feed, full everything. He, of course, I use a Hoyer lift to get him in his power chair. And I mean, he was able to drive his chair some. He had a little bit of shoulder movement if you put his hand on the goalpost of his power chair. But in May of 21, he went into respiratory failure. Now he's ventilator dependent with a trach, nonverbal, cannot eat, has a feeding tube, and cannot drive his chair. He's lost everything.
Are you doing this by yourself, or you have help?
Yes, I do it all by myself.
The trach and everything? Do you have nursing experience?
I have nursing experience. I do. But for the last 12 years, of course, I've been in the home taking care of him. And he was in the hospital from May until, well, he's in the hospital from May until June 23rd. Came home for 2 weeks, went back in the hospital July 8th, and did not come back out until the end of August. And then in the end of August, they decided that maybe they would try to put him in the long-term facility. Well, we live in West Virginia, and there's nowhere in West Virginia for a vent patient.
Oh,
So,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So they said, well, let's give it a try. They sent him to an LTAC 5.5 hours away from home. Well, needless to say, they weren't doing anything. They were doing more damage than they were doing good. They wanted his chair. They were going to try to get him start working on his chair. Well, within a week, they broke his power chair. Cost us $600 to get it fixed. So in November, he came back home. And I'm all on my own. I'm flying solo. I mean, I've got a nurse that comes in, changes a catheter once a month. And I've got an aide that comes in twice a week to help me bath them. But other than that, I'm all by myself.
So how's the finances? Who's paying for all this?
Well, I'm getting paid to take care of him. So thank God.
Your Social Security?
And yeah. And he gets Social Security, he gets SSI and Social Security. So I'm getting paid to care for him. And of course his insurance, thank God we've got good insurance that he pays.
What a blessing.
Everything's pretty much paid for him.
That's good. How many years have you been doing this?
12 years.
12 years. Well, Kathy's been doing her caregiving for 49 years. So she's the expert here. Kathy, I'm curious, what keeps you going? What keeps you from quitting? What keeps you from burning out? I mean, I'm assuming you must be putting your oxygen mask on first, taking care of your needs first in some way. How do you take care of your needs? How do you put your needs first so that you don't feel bitter and resentful and all that stuff?
The main thing that keeps me going is when he smiles.
When he smiles, is that what you said?
When it makes it all worthwhile. I do keep very busy. Before this crazy virus nutness hit, I'm in charge of pastoral care with hospice, and I do all the caregivers. I don't deal with any hospice patients. I deal with the caregivers because of the years experience. And like you, I know who they need to talk to, who's going to help them. We are very fortunate here in that a family that had major money had somebody that had a caregiver forever, and they died, the person that was being cared for. And these people donated a huge building to hospice that is only for caregivers, for caregivers. We do yoga 3 times a week. Right now, we're doing it on Zoom. We have doctors and specialists from our local college that teach classes such as the Hoyer lift, how to change a bed with somebody in it, how to pick somebody up if they fall without injuring them or you. I'm always the patient because people don't go to these classes if they don't know somebody. So I always take them. When they discharge these people from the hospital, they give you a 5-minute, this is what you need to do when you get home. And then you get home and you got a Hoyer lift that you don't know what you're doing with or anything else that's there.
Yeah.
Well, these classes are free for caregivers. Doesn't cost us a penny.
What state are you in?
Georgia. And the place, Savannah.
And I was in Savannah, Georgia. Went to what's her name's restaurant over there. Got some fried chicken and fried green tomatoes. What's her name? Debbie Dean, Paula Dean.
Paula Dean. Yeah.
It was. I love Savannah, Georgia. It's a beautiful coastal city. Wow. So you are not only a caregiver, but you are like me, you're caring for the others. Now, the hospice donation, that doesn't mean that the caregivers are dying, right? It's just you're training them there. Yes?
Well,
Are they
it's all
they aren't in
training.
hospice, right?
No.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
some, I mean, it depends. Anybody can go to it if you're a caregiver.
Wow. And some caregivers are in pretty bad shape and maybe they are dying. They
And
say
they all,
30% actually die and the rest of them become sicker than the ones they're caring for and need a caregiver themselves.
and we also do twice a week. We have well, now everything's Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
But we do a dementia thing once a week for people that are caring for any kind of dementia, whether it's
Wow.
Alzheimer's or
God
Lewy body.
bless you. That's why you've got it all together because you're helping others. You're,
That's how you get over being for yourself.
yeah. Gary, I bet your problems seem real small in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it alone, and I'm applying for the VA to help pay for us because New Hampshire doesn't have any kind of a program here.
Yeah, Gary's father had a stroke, and now
mhm.
they're living in a small apartment.
Yes, and we moved because the property taxes were just insane. I mean, New Hampshire's very pretty, but it's very, very expensive, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you
Dad
suffer
loves it.
burnout? What's your experience with burnout and how you've been taking care of yourself?
I'm
I
there
know you don't
about a
get out
couple.
much. Maybe you need to try to get out a little more. I don't know.
Well, I'm
Or
there a
do the
couple times.
stand-up comedy. That's a
Yes.
great hobby.
Well, I'm there a couple times a week, but since getting the PTSD from witnessing my friend die, I don't go out much. However, I have 2 online acting classes a week. I do 4 online Zumba classes a
Okay.
week. I'm also involved with an acting school for actors with disabilities that is in Los Angeles.
Good for
And
you.
I get to meet with them once or twice a week. I also
Virtually?
work virtually, yes. I'm also working with a sound engineer to perfect my studio, and I work with him every couple of weeks to try to get
Wow.
everything going. And then that's pretty much it besides doctor's appointments and errands and dad.
Wow. Well, do any of you guys feel led to tell anyone something that is on your heart or you feel like they need to hear?
I think you have to be in with the group. Although I have all these years worth of my group, because the Alzheimer's is new, like
Are you
last
talking
year.
about a real group or virtual group or what?
Or
Either
anything.
or. I mean, if you people are meeting,
Like a
great.
support group, you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Because I learned something from them. I mean, like Matthew could no longer swallow well, so medication. He's on 14 of them, 7,000 a month. Thank you, God, for Medicaid. Anyway, somebody said they used applesauce because it would go down easier. And that enhanced my life. And I just didn't think about it.
Just
But if
one
you-
little tip, huh?
One little
Yes.
thing, yeah.
A silly thing that why didn't I think about that? But somebody mentions it. Or like he's in stage, there's supposed to be 6 stages. Nobody dies from Alzheimer's, even though they have stages. They get pneumonia, they no longer can swallow. I mean, that's the death thing of it. But Alzheimer's doesn't kill you. And he's in the final stages now where you have to help him feed. He has to, a bunch of stuff. But hearing other people who are going through it or people who have the combative thing. When I heard Alzheimer's, I thought they forget things. And doctors think that too. Like one doctor said to me, well, he recognizes you. Yeah, he's my shadow. I mean, 24/7. If he's awake, I have to be there. If he goes in the hospital, I am in the hospital. So I try to keep him very healthy.
I can't remember your name again. iPad again. I'm sorry.
Lori, I'm Lori.
Lori. Yes, Lori. Of course. Anything to say to Lori? Are you in a support group?
I wish. I am not. that's what
what
I think.
keeps you from going into a support group, either virtually or real?
I want to get, I don't know of any support groups. I'd like to get in a support group because I think it is beneficial to be where where there's other people that are going through it. And like Kathy said, just a small tip, that would be great. I mean, I don't have anyone, like I have no one to talk to. I mean, I can talk to my husband, but he can't really, what you say, talk back to me.
Right.
And I mean, he has very limited. He can say yes, no, up, down. And I mean, and some things he can lip and I'll understand, but there's not a whole lot. And I mean, like I said, and I mean, he's pretty much bedbound. I can't take him anywhere by myself because of the ventilator and the oxygen that has to go with him. Whereas used to, I just do, put him in the power chair and away we'd go. I mean, I want a support group, but I just haven't been able to find a support group.
Well, I know of a good one. You guys know any support groups? I don't know if you watched my my podcast with Adrienne Gruberg, my co-host of the Caregiver Space, but she runs some excellent forums and support groups, and each of them have a niche, like for people who aren't caregivers anymore. Now they're dealing with depression, or people who are caregivers of cancer patients, or people who are caregivers of Alzheimer's patients. Just go to the caregiverspace.com. No, but .org, the caregiverspace.org, and look for the forums or the chat rooms. I forget what exactly they call them, but they've got, I think they're actually in the Facebook page. Go to the Caregiver Space on Facebook, and that's where they are.
Okay.
So just look for that, and she's got a very strong community of support group there.
Awesome.
Hi, Patty. You're a caregiver, I assume?
I am.
Tell us how did this happen to you?
I have an adult daughter with multiple rare diseases. So I have been her caregiver for a long time.
How many years is a long time?
She was diagnosed in 2007, but she had issues since birth, and she's going to be 29. So,
wow, very similar to Kathy. She's for 49 years. She's been caring for her son. So, Kathy, you got any advice for Patty?
Support group. Do that, because you might help somebody else by something you're saying. And not only that, but especially this Alzheimer's support group. I mean, let's face it, we get frustrated and we get depressed.
Yeah.
And there's days when you say, I could just kill them. And they're not going to call up DFACS or the police on you because they're walking in those same shoes.
Right.
And there's people that aren't caregivers, or people that come in for 5 minutes and think, wow, you're not doing anything. These people understand and they're sympathetic. And you can laugh with them about stupid things.
Yeah, you can vent to them. Don't vent to your good friends, because then they'll stop coming around. Then you just lost a friend.
Oh, yeah. Well, you lose friends real quick.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer.
No.
You have a support group, Patty?
I have multiple, and I've actually started a business as a patient coach, helping rare disease patients get the care and work with their medical teams.
Look at this. Do you see how the successful caregivers who care for themselves start helping others? And that is the best way to not only survive, but to thrive this thing. Now you have a purpose, and you're just not concentrating on your loved one, because that can get depressing. That can get, you fill in the blank. Gary, you got something to say?
It can get frustrating sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I've done 43 things today, and I'm like, why am I so tired? And I'm like, wait a minute, I just did 43 things.
You got 43 things on your to-do list, huh?
Yes. Well, maybe
Wow.
maybe 15, but still. But
Sure.
especially where I do all like the medication management and I do all the shopping and errands and cooking and all of that stuff,
So
that
you
sort of thing.
sound like a very healthy caregiver, Patty, but even healthy caregivers have challenges. What are your challenges?
Really finding doctors that can help with rare diseases, just because it's just, they just don't, there's not a lot of answers. It's hard to test for, it's hard to find medications that work.
Where do you live?
I live in Colorado.
What city?
I live in Estes Park.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
It's right up in the Rocky Mountain National Park.
Oh, beautiful up there, huh?
It is beautiful. So that's kind of the biggest, and just trying to keep my daughter's quality of life good enough that she wants to be here. It's just very hard.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate and how would she rate her life as far as quality of life?
Right now, she's very stable and things are good. We have good doctors. So I would say probably a 7 out of 10.
And you both are good with that number?
For the most part. Yeah.
Well, even if that's as good as it gets, that's pretty darn good compared to if we're grading on the curve.
We work hard at it. And
Lori,
it's been a long process. It's been years. We weren't always at this place, but
how long did it take to get there, and how did you get there?
When she got diagnosed, she was a 7th grader and was unable to go to school for more than an hour or two once or twice a week. So she was very, very sick, and they didn't know.
I assume you started homeschooling.
No. Oh, no. No, it was quite a fight. Her doctor said that she shouldn't be so sick. She should just go to school, push her, and she couldn't. And so it was a big uphill battle, and we didn't know what was wrong with her. So it took a long time to figure it out. And we finally found doctors. She's functioning, but she still has quite a lot that she deals with. She still has to nap every day, or she has a type of narcolepsy where she will fall asleep. She has limited food.
Wow.
But she now has a group of friends. She's been able to take some online classes now with COVID, making things so much more accessible. And she's gotten to where she can manage a lot of her life on her own, and she's doing well.
Well, she's so blessed to have you. How about your husband? Is he still around?
He is my ex-husband. He was a big part of why the doctors didn't believe us. He's a pediatrician.
Oh my.
And yes, it was not a good situation. So yes, we are no longer together. And that was a big move in terms of letting her step into what her life really was rather than what they expected it to be.
And how long ago was that?
That was 11 years ago.
So things are better.
Things are much better.
So no marriage is better than a bad marriage. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Lori, did I ask you if you were married still?
Yeah, that's who I care for, is my husband.
Oh, I'm sorry. Of course.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's him.
Wow. What's so common now these days is for ex-spouses caring for their ex-spouse after they have a stroke or something. Have you guys heard of that?
Not my mother. Sorry.
There's a lot of caregivers out there caring for their ex-spouse, and they weren't in love with them. They didn't like them. They couldn't live with them. But for some reason, there was some love left and some compassion left that, well, there was no one else to care for him, so I'm caring for him. And is that hard for you to relate to, any of you people?
Yeah.
How about you, Kathy?
I didn't hear that. I had to give me.
I said there are ex-spouses who get sick, and then the ex-spouse decides to care for them.
Well, I wouldn't be one of them.
I know it's very unusual, but I heard of like 3 people doing that, and I says, I wonder how common it is.
My ex and his next wife actually did that with her ex-spouse. So yeah, they just adopted him into the family, and the whole family took care of him.
So there's an example. So your ex-husband, who's a pediatrician, married again.
Yeah, they had an affair.
They had an affair.
My ex and the woman that he's married to had an affair,
and then married now.
They are married now.
And so
then they took care of her.
His present wife, had an ex who got sick, and they brought him into the house.
He had his own house, but they took him to all of his appointments. He came to all the holiday things. He was just included in everything.
It's almost like an episode of Reba.
I don't understand how they did it, but I do actually appreciate the fact that they were willing.
Yeah, God bless them.
They did amazing.
There's a special place in heaven for them, I think. Hey, Lori.
Hey, I got it.
You figured it out.
Yeah, I've sat here and played with it, but I figured it out.
So you've all kind of heard each other's stories. Does anyone have anything that you feel compelled to share with someone? Or does someone have a special challenge that you would like to ask opinions of how other people have gotten through? This is kind of a support group, right?
Oh, yeah.
This qualifies. First of all, anybody have any challenges that you'd like some advice on? Gary, you going through something right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to balance, starting a career while doing this. And
very important.
And the other thing that I'm going through is that I've had friends that have been traveling different places, and I said, you can't come to visit due to COVID. And people don't seem to grasp the concept. My father also has a condition where his white blood cell count drops frequently, so we do transfusions periodically. It's related to the stroke. So I'm dealing with all these people saying, well, I just flew, to California. I'm like, well, you can't come to my house and you can't see me. And they don't seem to grasp the concept that, he's immunocompromised and we are still in a pandemic. So you can't come to my house.
You mentioned his wife. Where is she?
That's my mother. They haven't been married since Reagan was president.
So where is she living?
She lives in North Carolina. I talk to her like once a month. She's my mom.
Okay.
He doesn't have any other children.
Is she one of the ones that wants to come and see you?
No, no, she's not. No, she's not interested in travel because of COVID. But
is COVID getting better where you live out there?
It is, but the thing is that most of the people that are dying from it are in his age category with multiple medical conditions. So that's the boat that I'm in, and his white count is really low. So I'm living like it's like March 2020, sort of. I mean, I'm going out a little bit more, but like I said, I'm not big into people anyway. So,
which you need to work on that one day because that's not a healthy thing. But
I have so much online that I do.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Okay. It's like the kid who's playing video games all day long with 30 people, with the headset on. He needs to go out and interact with nature, and real people and deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly, Does everybody agree with me?
I'm an introvert too. And I go out in nature all the time. I could do without people, but I just go out in nature all the time. And that's me and my dog go on adventures, and we casually talk to people, but
that's how you get vitamin D, the sunshine, unless you're sitting in front of your window.
Oh, that's fine going outside. I just don't want to be out with a crowd of people. I also used to work with the public for years. And
yeah, I get it. Do you have any friends? That you would consider real good friends?
Mean that are close by?
Whether they're close or not.
I have some. I have a few. Absolutely. Again, all of this sort of changes when you're doing this. You're much busier. That's
true. You lose a lot of friends. My wife lost all her friends, and she had a lot of them because it's hard to communicate and have a relationship with a nonverbal person. But God bless us. One person out of all of her friends, one person keeps in contact. Drives 35 miles to take her to the movies, take her to the dinner, just talk and visit. And, thank God for a friend like that. Even one friend is so valuable.
Oh, of course.
Do all you guys still have friends? Yeah.
I have family, which I'm very blessed with. I have 6 children, 5 in-laws,
Wow.
15 grands, and 9 great-grands. They all know sign language, so they can communicate with Matt. 4 of them are in college to be in nursing school. And so they can come over and sit with Matt and get OJT time.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
76. I'll be 77 this year, and I'm in excellent health. God gave me Matt, and my friends who are all not healthy told me my reason for my health is because I got him.
Yeah. My wife is 77. She's a year older than you, and she looks great. And other than the fact that she lost her speech and is paralyzed on one side, she's in excellent health. She probably lived to be 100. And she does all of the household duties. She's a gourmet cook. I come home, dinner's on the table. She does all this with one arm and one leg tied behind her back, mind you.
Wow.
And she does the shopping. Of course, I have to take her, and I've got to, follow her around. She has amazing stamina. She decorates the house. She's an interior decorator. She puts on dinner parties, if you can believe that. I mean,
wow.
She can do more than most normal people can, and she puts many people to shame. And she's such a blessing to people because they look at her and they say, gosh, what am I complaining about? This woman does, 10 times more than I do, and she can't talk, and she's paralyzed on one side. And it makes you appreciate all you have, and it makes you stop complaining.
Well, she also has you as your partner.
Well, of course, she has me.
Yes.
But I have her too. We had a fairy tale storybook romance, courtship and marriage 47 years ago. And it just became a new normal. We took our vows seriously. We met people in our support group whose spouses just left them. One, while she was still in the hospital, said, I didn't sign up for this, so common. So we're both blessed. Did you ever communicate your challenge? Yes, the career. Anybody have advice for Gary on how to balance career? Is that your only source of income, trying to make money, or you've got other income, Gary?
My savings is just about gone.
Okay.
I had a freelance writing job, and then that ended. It'd be 2 years in June. I did some pandemic unemployment for a little while, but then my state took away the quarantine. So that was the only way that I was able to do it, because New Hampshire doesn't pay freelancers.
Wow. So any advice, guys, on how to balance caregiving and career? That's a tough challenge, especially when you need the money.
Yeah.
Gary, does your have, let me look this up for just a second.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
If you live in the home with the person that you're caring for, there is a program, and I'm going to give you the initials for it. It pays caregivers for taking care of a family member. You must live in the household. It is non-taxable money.
Okay.
And they pay $54 a day.
Okay.
We have the initials that are CHCI, whatever state you're in. Mine says CHCI, Georgia.
Okay.
Go online, because you're familiar with that, which I'm not tech savvy, because it's non-taxable income. If your dad, like my son, went to a medical care facility every day and it closed because of the virus. He also had caregivers that used to come in at 7 a.m. And because of the virus, like you, I have a big sign on my door, sorry, no visitors. I mean, I can't have him in the hospital. That means I'm in the hospital with him. And I'm not going if I can help it.
Exactly.
And like your dad, Matt would not make it. I mean, he's major lung issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, they will pay you. I get $54 a day because Matt is 100% care. Now, I don't know if they base money on that. But please look it up, because you have to submit. You can do yours online. I do mine written. At the end of every day, you have to submit a report saying this is what I did today for him. You cooked his food, you shaved him, whatever you did.
Mhm.
And you get paid for that.
Mhm. Okay,
So
great.
caregiving for somebody that you live in the same house and that is your dad on Medicaid? No, he's VA.
He's VA, and actually I'm waiting for a program with the VA, which is aid and attendance, but that is taxable, and it does take about 90 to 120 days. And at this point, I hired an agent through Veterans United to help me, because even though they'll take a commission, he can speed it up for me. So once a week, he and I meet, usually for just a quick form or a question, or I have to sign something or he has to sign something. Hopefully that will happen, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do interviews from home and the caregiving and the errands and the doctor's appointments. So I'm trying to do all of those things, and like I said, I've got the sign on the door too, where everyone's wanting to come visit. And I'm like, it's a pandemic still. You cannot come to visit. And I can't, I normally have a haircut. This is not what I normally look like, I go maybe, I think I've been once in 16 or 18 months. I've had a haircut once, and one dental cleaning, that's it.
Get the Flowbee.
But yeah, I appreciate that, Kathy. Thank you. I will look into that. I definitely, like I said, that's been my biggest challenge, and I appreciate your input. Thank you.
And it's not considered income, so even it won't affect the VA or any of your household things.
Okay, great. Excellent. Good.
What were those initials?
CHCI?
And then it's a dash. And mine is Georgia's. Obviously, yours is whatever state you're in, but it's nationwide. I've gotten at least 25 people on it.
Mhm.
Okay, CHCI.
Yes, ma'am, and it's all capital letters.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I am stepping away to get my iPad charger, because this is about to go when I don't want to log in somewhere else. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know. I think it's in the kitchen. I thought it was on my table here, but it's not. Sorry.
Anyone else have some challenges you want to get some feedback from the rest of the group?
Well, okay, I have an issue. He has siblings, but they don't want to help. They basically, since he's went down, they basically written him off. So I have zero support. I get zero breaks because there's no one to sit with them.
Is he a vet?
No, he is not.
Kathy, any advice for that?
I have even checked into doing hospice, but he doesn't qualify for hospice because he's on a ventilator, which is life-sustaining.
What about palliative care with hospice? They'll come in and help. It's not hospice like you're going to be dead in 6 months, but palliative care.
Okay, I can check into that because, like I said, because I wanted to do hospice because, like here, oh, hold on.
Hello, Lori, the other Lori.
Hi, Dave.
How and when did you become a caregiver?
My mother survived a massive stroke, and I was a caregiver for 8 years.
Just like my wife, but she's still living after 25 years. Was it a bleed or a clot?
It was a clot.
Yeah. And how was it for those 8 years?
She was very similar, actually, to your wife. She was expressive aphasic and paralyzed on her right side. And at the same time, my dad was on dialysis.
Wow, you had both of them, huh?
Yes.
So sorry. So now you just have your dad, or are you
Actually, they've both passed now.
So are you still doing care for anybody, or are you just a retired caregiver?
Actually, it created an environment where I also help caregivers. I have a free website for caregivers, and I educate. I learned to be a certified therapeutic journal writing instructor.
Good for you.
So I help caregivers manage the stress by using a journal.
Look at that. So those are the healthy caregivers, the ones who go, everything happens for a reason. I mean, it's a terrible thing that happened to my wife and happened to all your loved ones. But, that's life. Everyone has a story. As the Bible says, the rain falls on the good and on the bad alike, and I truly believe this earth and this life that we live for thousands and thousands of years is a testing ground to test us and to teach us things. And the ones who refuse to learn just are grumpy old men, and grumpy old ladies, and those that choose to find the underside of the tapestry, so to speak, which looks like hell. Try to look at the top, because there's a purpose in all this, and it all makes sense. And I don't wish that stroke for my wife would happen again. I wouldn't want it to happen for $1 million, but you know what? I'm glad it happened, in the sense that we have learned so much. We have grown so much. We're much more in love. It's a deeper kind of love. I wouldn't be on 52 TV shows and speaking at Harvard and Carnegie Hall and all these places all over the world, the London Stock Exchange. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't have a radio show. I wouldn't be who I am, serving my purpose in life, if my wife didn't have that terrible, terrible tragedy. So if any of you are not there yet, figuring out why, some people just spend their whole life, why did this happen to me? Why, I had plans and now they're all shot, and you're just going to live in bitterness and resentment for the rest of your life. Anyone have to say anything about that?
That is so true, Dave. And that's what I love about listening to you and reading. And honestly, I've learned from you, because it is. I used to tell my mom that without her having survived this massive stroke, I wouldn't have found my passion in life. And that's basically what you said.
That is so great. That is so great. And you've read my book? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yep.
What a
and I follow you. I see you in Hawaii, and I see you all over the country.
Oh, you're a hardcore fan. Okay. Well, I have 34,000 people on that Facebook page, and only 5 of you showed up. That speaks volumes,
Yeah.
That's about the right percentage of people who are just, at their wits' end and hanging on, by their fingernails and just trying to get through the day, and people who are actually trying to make sense of this and be healthy.
So true.
So what do we do for all those people? Anybody have any ideas?
Support group.
Yeah, she's a broken record, but it's true. Yeah. I can post funny little caregiver memes, and I'll get tens of thousands of likes, shares, comments, and I'll post my podcast on a great topic that people will learn something about, burnout or depression or this and that. And I get 3 or 4 likes. It's probably you guys. I just don't get it. But I was probably there. Maybe it's just out of ignorance. I was overwhelmed. I was a gas station owner one second. I'm a caregiver the next day. And I went to bed on August 31st, 1996. I didn't know that the last words I spoke to my wife that she spoke to me would be the last words she'd ever speak.
Right.
If I'd have known that, I would have planned the day better. I would have taken the day off from work and done something special with her. Maybe go sailing, maybe just sleep, not even sleep, just live throughout the night, just talking, staying up all night, like we used to do when we were dating, But gosh.
Darn. Well, on that note, Dave, I've got a caregiver actually calling me, so I need to jump off. But
All right.
thank you for what you do. You are
Hey, do I
doing a
have,
lot for
thank you
everybody.
so much for that. Do I have everyone's permission, maybe to post this video online? Because maybe people are just afraid to come on the group, and maybe if they actually hear or see it, they say, hey, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll join tomorrow's, or would you rather I didn't? Anybody?
I'm good.
I'm
All right.
fine with it.
Good.
Yes, I
Great.
said both you and Kathy were a wealth of information. Thank you.
Yeah, we are. We make a great team.
Yes, thank you very much. And for me, it's pretty much a balancing act trying to keep it going. And, that's the plan anyway.
So, Kathy, how do people get a hold of you and your many resources, your support groups? Tell us again all the things you do and how we can get a hold of you.
Well, my main thing is the hospice with pastoral care. And I mean hospice, of course, the doctors.
But you don't need hospice to go in there because it's for caregivers, right?
Right. And I forgot her name again, which you forgot
Lori?
too.
Lori?
Right. Please check into that palliative care because your husband qualifies for it.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
doesn't have to be hospice. And hospice is no longer, you can be in and out of them now.
Sure.
And I mean, that's nationwide. It doesn't matter where. And if you can't find, check with different hospices. Like our hospice is very open because we have all this money that was donated. And so we're able to do a lot of stuff that other hospice aren't because they don't have the funds. So if you get a hospice and they tell you he doesn't meet their what, call another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like finding a doctor. If you don't feel good about what that doctor's saying, get another one.
And where is the hospice place again?
Savannah, Georgia.
I didn't hear it again.
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia, of course. Home of Paula Dean.
And we just had our wonderful St. Patrick's Day with thousands of people.
Oh, that's the first place I had green fried tomatoes and fried chicken, and just everything tasted better in Savannah. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, and it's a wonderful city.
I need to go back there with my wife because she was jealous that I went to Paula Dean's, and my daughter was jealous that I went to Paula Dean's, and we may just have to bring the whole family.
Well, don't come now because we're back into full masks and a lot of nutness.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, our schools have gone back to virtual. It's crazy.
Gosh, I'm here in LA, which is the worst. And does that mean it's coming to LA too?
I don't know.
They've taken our masks off here in LA, and there's no. It's really opened up, which is amazing because that doesn't happen. Even Hawaii is opening up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I'll be doing it again tomorrow and see who shows up. And if you want to show up, Kathy, you especially, your wealth of information, and Gary, thank you so much.
At the same time as today.
Pardon? Yeah,
Are
same
you
time. 9, which is 12 for you.
Right.
And 12 for both of you, I think, right?
Well,
Yes, 12 for both of us. Yes.
All right. Well, God bless you
Kathy?
guys. Thanks so much
Kathy,
for
may
coming
I ask
on.
Kathy something? May I ask Kathy
Yeah,
something before I go?
Absolutely, sure.
Kathy, do you connect with people on Facebook, or do you not like to do that?
Oh, yes. I have 16 children that I'm on Facebook all the time. There's
Okay. And so, okay.
We just
Okay, is
did those prom that he does for handicapped kids. And
Oh,
we
yes,
have
yes.
tons. There were 3,000. Can
Oh,
you
that's
imagine?
great. That's
Oh,
wonderful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I definitely would like to connect with you because I'm involved with a group of disabled actors too. So with actors with disabilities. So it's Kathy Murphy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right. So I'll take care of that later. That sounds great. Thank you so much, Dave.
And I did 4 minutes of stand-up comedy at the Harvard Club of New York because it's been on my bucket list. And I had an opportunity. So I went on the internet and looked up for jokes that actually made me laugh out loud instead of just,
Well, tell one. We need a laugh.
I can't perform on the spot. I choke. but I bet Gary can tell you a joke.
All
See,
right,
with the-
Gary, you can.
Oh, Lori's back. Lori, Kathy wanted to remind you to look up the palliative care.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had something come up and I had to jump off real quick. But
Nope.
okay, so the palliative care through hospice. Now he doesn't have to be on hospice, correct?
No.
No, he isn't going to be on hospice. Palliative care is before hospice. But what you missed was not all hospice offer it, or their criteria is the same. So if you get a no, or he doesn't qualify from one hospice, go to another hospice. There's 7.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean, don't take a no from a hospice and think you're dead in the water. Call another hospice.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. I
doctors.
felt.
Search.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry because something came up with him and I had to jump off real quick. So. Yeah.
I know.
Something.
Call that one.
Yeah. Something happened and I had to jump up real quick. But okay. Yeah, I'll check with hospice and see, about the palliative care then.
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
He qualifies under ours, but we have lots of funds. So we're we take in people that don't qualify for other hospice. So that's why I said, if you get a no from one, keep searching.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I will. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm so sorry I had to jump up real fast. After I asked a question, something came up and I had to attend to him.
No problem. And obviously, you guys are following the caregiver Dave. If you wanted to follow me personally, I'm Dave Nasani. I'll be happy to friend you.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
You just see a lot of my personal stuff, which you may or may not want to see.
Perfect. I will do
Okay.
that.
But we're friends, so hey.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I haven't hit the 5,000 mark yet, so
Oh, well, cool.
I think I'm at 4,000.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, cool.
All right. Well, thank
Well,
you,
I'm
everyone.
going to do this again tomorrow at 9:00. So I don't know who'll show up, but I know one person said they would. So we'll just see. I just want to see what's a good time for most of the people. Are there any other good times for you guys?
This is fine.
Are Saturdays in
This
general
is
better
fine.
than? Okay.
This is fine. Tomorrow I'll be at the doc. We'll be at the doctor, so I won't be
Okay.
here.
No problem. I may do it every Monday or Tuesday. I just have to see. I just want to use my time wisely. But
Right.
so many times I've tried to start these in the past, and I'm the only one on there, so I gave up. But then I discovered that posting funny caregiver memes just rejuvenated my 34,000 group. People were coming out of the woodwork, laughing and liking, and I says, "Oh my God, they are there!" So I've been utilizing that and trying to, because Facebook likes that. The more you can do, so I've got to periodically find the funniest thing. If you guys ever have a funny meme for me, please send it to me, because the funnier the better. And that just once someone responds who hasn't ever responded or hasn't responded in years, they're in the loop again. Because the old Facebook used to send I sent things out to all 35,000 of them, and they'd all get it. But now only the ones who have been interacting will get it. So more and more people have been interacting. So I thought, well, let me try again this webinar thing. And look, we got 5 people.
Well, we all need a laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Lori, is it okay if I post this video on the group just to get
That's
people
fine.
to see that
That's
it's very informative, and maybe they want to tune in tomorrow?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Awesome. Love you guys so much.